Before that, let us pray to the Garden Masters that for this next event, keep doing deep breathing and listening. Om Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Jena Characharam Tatpadam Darsitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Dhyanamulam Gurur Murtim Pujamulam Gurur Padam Mantramulam Gurur Bhakyam Mokshamulam Guru Kripa Nagurur Adhikam Tattam Nagurur Adhikam Sattam Guru Kripa Hi Kevalam Bhagvat Kripa Hi Kevalam. That Guru, by giving new knowledge, creates a new destiny to overcome ignorance of the inner self and to get happiness and to avoid unhappiness, to avoid stress and depression, which is a big suffering, source of suffering, even endangering life. And let me explain the meaning of the prayer I did. Dhyanamulam Gurur Murtim. The Guru, when it is personally present, he helps in automatic meditation. When you remember the Guru, he is a symbol of meditation and spirituality. So when you remember, immediately it helps you to overcome the restlessness of mind and steady it in the meditation. Dhyanamulam Gurur Murtim. Pujamulam Gurur Padam. This explains how you should approach the spiritual teacher. Pujamala means when you approach the teacher, you should approach with positive attitude and faith in order to learn and strengthen your spiritual practice and to get the blessings. Pujamulam Gurur Padam, Mantramulam Gurur Bhakyam. You should listen to the spiritual teacher with close attention, even if he says something casually while conversation, or you should remember it as a word of power, like a mantra, which will meditating on which it will help you to meditate well and practice spirituality. Mantramulam Gurur Bhakyam. Literally speaking, every speech the Guru makes is a word of spiritual energy and power. Mokshamulam Guru Kripa. When the teacher, spiritual teacher, blesses you wholeheartedly from his heart, that leads you to self-realization and liberation. So this is the meaning of this prayer. So here I remember to tell you that some people say they are photos. Yes, they are photos. I will tell you beautiful incidents from the diary of Lahiri Mahashaya, the godlike Kriya Yoga master. And he used to sit in his house after his retirement, doing Kriya only, and many disciples from different parts of India, they come to have company, Satsang and his darshan and get his blessings. They come with families. And he opened his house for that. He had not a big house, he was not a rich man. He worked as an office assistant, but he saved enough money to open school, and in his house, any Kriya person, any disciple coming from long distance, he allowed them to camp inside his house, giving them all food, simple. And many come like that. And joyfully, he extends his invitation to all his disciples. So, many disciples, while returning back to their villages, which is long distance, they seek his blessings. So, one person came, family, that he asked that, Master, can you please give me a photo of yours? Those days photography was not common. He says, what he will do with a photo? It is a mere picture. Flesh and bone. What he will benefit from seeing flesh and bone? You meditate on me here and I'll be there. My blessing will be there. So he studies the psychology of each person and accordingly he will give advice. But another family came after that and with folded hand pray, Master, can you please give as a photograph because we are going long distance and we may not be able to come again. So he stretched his hand under a pillow. He was sitting on his bed and took out a crumpled black and white photo of himself and gave it to them. And he says, take this. If you think this is a mere piece of paper, it is a mere piece of paper. But if you think it is an amulet, will protect you, it is an amulet, will protect you. Like that he gave them and they took, and praying to that photo, they escaped from so many dangers. Even lightning, thunder, they could not do any harm. It was lying near their house. The trees around their house was burning and they never got. One day they were sitting at the table and praying. At that time, heavy rain, thunder, lightning. And lightning struck next to their window. A green tree was burning. Then they sat near that photo praying, lighting a candle there because there was no electricity. And immediately the thunder was there, fire broke out, but they felt as if a wall of ice is around them, keeping them cool and safe. And there is some of the incidents. So, same thing, we believe the photos are not mere piece of paper or painting. It is full living God. In ashram, you ask Ronald, Baba, we worship them as a living person. Then you will feel the blessings. So now coming to this article, this is from Indian newspaper, Indian Express of March 14. The irony, pursuit of happiness can leave you unhappy. Study. A scientific study, their conclusion is, pursuit of happiness can leave you unhappy. People who pursue happiness often feel like they do not have enough time in the day, which paradoxically makes them feel unhappy, a study has found. Researchers from Rutgers University in USA University and of Toronto, Scarborough in Canada conducted 4 studies in which they investigated how the pursuit of happiness as well as the state of being happy influenced people's perception of time. Pursuing happiness caused the participants to think of time as scarce, tension, running after reward in limited time. So everybody is running after happiness, that makes them more unhappy because they are tense. Whether they will succeed in this time is less. In the studies, some participants were either instructed to list things that would make them happier or asked to try to make themselves feel happy while watching a very dull movie about building bridges, thus demonstrating happiness as a goal pursuit. The other participants came to think of happiness as a goal that they had already accomplished, achieved by watching a slapstick comedy rather than a bridge movie, or listing items showing that they are already happy. Afterwards, all participants reported how much free time they felt they had. The findings showed that a person's perception of time scarcity is influenced by their pursuit of happiness. What is happiness? How far it is? How far happiness? And the happiness goal goes on receding and receding. The more you progress, more receding. So what is? More tension, more worry. Time seems to vanish amid the pursuit of happiness, but only when seen as a goal requiring continued pursuit. This finding adds depth to the growing body of work suggesting that pursuit of happiness can ironically undermine your well-being. You understand? When you search for happiness, when happiness, how happiness, where happiness, it will make you more tense. So that's why the teaching is don't search for happiness. Because yogically speaking, when you search for happiness, you are also searching for unhappiness. They don't come alone. It is always like 2 sides of a coin. If you ask a coin, the coin will come and you will see it has two sides. Similarly, if you ask for happiness, automatically unhappiness, you are asking for it. So as per this, don't struggle too much for attaining happiness, because always feel that you have already got the happiness. It is all play of mind, play of psychology. That's all. So if you practice yoga and the source of all happiness, your own soul is there inside, keep its company and automatically happiness will come. So our next talk is about Bhagavad-Gita. It is a huge task, This has been studied for more than 5,000-6,000 years, but its origin is much more ancient. Bhagavad-Gita gives the teachings of the essence of the source of the eternal religion before any religion came. The Vedic religion called Sanatana Dharma, the religion eternal. And it was mentioned already in the Vedas, but it was not accessible to ordinary people. It was only dealt by saints, sages, and people dedicated to philosophy and self-realization and spirituality. So it is up to Krishna during the time of crisis of his close friend, emotional crisis, value crisis, is a personal guidance, personal counseling, designed for certain purpose of seeing your path clear through the confusion of different situations in performing your duties, which gives, if not done properly, it gives tension. And when there is tension, there is anxiety, there are all types of diseases, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart problem, brain problem, kidney problems. So that is where his close friend met the situation. But his personal counsel of his close friend was such that it was the essence of all the philosophies of the Vedas and their higher knowledge, philosophical knowledge. That apart from rituals, there is something through your day-to-day activity you can avoid stress and you can avoid self-realization. And that is where it is of eternal value. It was 5,000, 6,000 years ago, even today, and its importance is increasing. Many management programs are borrowing from this and remodeling it and giving it in an old wine in a new bottle, sort of thing. So before that, I will say the author is Bhagavan Sri Krishna. They say he is the incarnation of God, and his disciple Arjuna, a brilliant commander-in-chief, brilliant in every way, a man of high moral and accomplishments. He had a crisis in the battlefield, where is his workplace. So many people misunderstand this book. They read it superficially and tell, oh, Arjuna, he didn't want to fight, but Krishna came and forced him to fight. It is no good. That is not the real picture. If you want to understand Bhagavad Gita, you need to read its source, Mahabharata, the great epic of ancient India. There are two great epics. One is the Mahabharata, every aspect of human nature and his association with cosmic values, and Ramayana, another value system. That was written before Bhagavad Gita by another saint called Valmiki. But to understand this, you need to read Mahabharata. I'll give a brief summary, it may take some time. Long time back, about 5,000, 6,000 years ago, there was a kingdom now somewhere near modern Delhi. And it was ruled by mighty kings. And the two brothers who were ruling jointly were killed. And two brothers means two brothers and their family. One brother had a descendants of 100 children. Another brother had descendants of 5 children. They are the Pandavas and they are the Kauravas. The father, the ancestor of this 100 children, he was born blind. So as per the rules of those days, he was not authorized to become king, even if he was the elder one. So he was disqualified. And his younger brother, Pandu, became the king. But from that, that intrigue is going on between the two, an invisible Cold War sort of thing. So automatically, the king brother, younger brother's son, became king after him. And the elder brother's son, the blind brother who could not become king, they could not become king, though they wanted that it is their right. So from the beginning, these two had their struggle. So these people started many conspiracies to kill them and put them into trouble. So they have to leave, move around in the jungle. And they saw that they will solve this problem through a game of dice. So these 5 brothers, they are very ignorant of gambling. But the 100 brothers, helped by their uncle who was an expert gambling master. So he helped them to win. And the condition is those who lose, they forfeit their rights and go to the jungle, move around for 13 years. And after that, they will come when they qualify to get back their kingdom. So that happened. So they came back. By this time, in their absence, these people are ruling. They all had taste of kingship and kingdom and power. They didn't want to give their land back. So they tried. Now, Krishna is the cousin of both. So they decided, they sent Krishna as ambassador to negotiate, and it didn't work out. The opposite party told, without war, we will not give a needle point of territory. And 3 times Krishna went as ambassador, and they tried to kill him. And so then they thought that war is a must. So they went to, when they decided war is a must, they informed all the relatives, friends to come and help, and this also happened in this side. And since Krishna is a relative of both, they went to him, that you fight from our side. So Krishna told, you both are my brothers. I have decided that my whole army, he had a very powerful army, they will be on one side, and I am on the other side, but I will not hold weapons. Means I will not fight actively. So what to do? So there, Arjuna was there. He went on behalf of his brothers because he was a close friend of Krishna and his brother-in-law also. And from that side, their eldest Duryodhana came. So Krishna managed such a way that Arjuna is the first person to ask the favor, whether he wants his army or he wants him unarmed. So Arjuna told, Krishna, I don't want your army. You come towards, you come our side, even if you don't carry weapons. That happened, and the other group, the 100 brothers, they got the whole army of Krishna, 4 groups of armies, elephant army, horse army, foot soldiers, and chariot warriors, all groups. So they were very happy. They were very short-sighted people, very arrogant. So they thought that now the war is in their hand, in their pocket. So after that fellow went back, Krishna asked Arjuna when they were alone, that Arjuna, why did you select me? I won't fight for you. I don't carry a weapon. He says, Arjuna smiled at Krishna. I can take care of all my enemies. But what I lack is an expert driver for my war chariot. He is a chariot warfare. He is the best bowman, archer of his time, unrivaled. Nobody can stand against it. because he mastered it with practice in such a way that he can shoot arrows on the left hand, then switch over to right hand. Continuous flow of thousands of arrows that came from his bows, and no enemy can stand against it. So Arjuna smiled, I don't care for any enemy. What I need is a good chariot driver. So Krishna was happy. So very intelligent use of talent. He doesn't have to carry a weapon, at the same time he gave his determining power of decision, because in a war chariot, when two chariot warriors, it's a driver which makes a difference. How you outmaneuver the other chariot and put the other enemy as a sitting duck, and this fellow can shoot. That happened. So Krishna was unrivaled master of chariot warrior and chariot driver. That's where the story began. But Arjuna is most brilliant from his time. He knew his strength and weakness. He knew his sentimental. He knew his emotional and his very high morality. So he knew at beginning some crisis there will be emotional background, a breakdown, and he will lose the whole thing. So he thought if Krishna is by his side, he will save him. That's why he planned that way. And that exactly happened. When both sides are ready, big armies, thousands and thousands of armies standing on both sides, facing each other, ready to shoot, kill or be killed. Then Arjuna, with his big, nice, impressive war chariot with Krishna as a driver, they drove through. And so Arjuna asked Krishna, please keep it on a high ground so I can see the enemy whom I'm going to kill. Then he saw both sides are his relatives, cousins, father-in-laws, in-laws, cousins and their children, nephews, and his own teacher, Dronacharya, who taught both. Then he had a nervous breakdown. He said, I am going to kill these people, and I will drench my hands with their blood. What is the use of the kingdom? But he forgot that they all 5 brothers and their friends all decided they will fight for their right. Then his personal, he thought, war is very bad. And he's a Kshatriya. Kshatriya means he's a warrior class of persons. Their born duty is to fight wars and solve problems and win wealth. So there he told Krishna. He got acute anxiety and depression. He says, my hands are trembling. All these people are my relatives. I'll fight them. My mouth is getting dry. I'm getting perspiration and sweating. My legs are trembling. I can't do this. So he threw the bow and arrow. I can't. So there Krishna is in dilemma. What to do? So he counseled him, look, it is your duty as a warrior class, as a king, to fight against injustice. Number one, he achieved many goals to save Arjuna's life, because those days, even nowadays, a deserter from the army during action is court-martialed and killed immediately on the field, shot. So they would have done the same thing to Arjuna if he would have escaped or refused to fight. So Krishna there counseled him about secret of duties, secret of morality, secret of cosmic law and individual law. And everybody is connected to the cosmos. The whole world, the whole creation is governed by the cosmic rules set by God. He explained in detail. He says, you cannot go anywhere. Can you imagine? When a doctor goes anywhere, he has to see patients. He may run away from one hospital. It is like, situation is like this. Suppose a doctor in the emergency department of a hospital, he is attending, working. Suddenly a big group of accident victims come. Car accident, truck accident, so many twisted legs, broken open brain, head, spilling out and bleeding. And if a doctor sees this and becomes nervous, oh, how can I manage this? And he throws his stethoscopes and run away. The situation is like that. So there you need to be calm. There Krishna counseled him. So wherever you go, your war will not going to leave you. Wherever you go, you will fight, because you are a born fighter. So that is how this came. So that personal counseling is recorded here, and it applies even thousands of years after. And incidentally, it is the essence of the whole teachings of all the Vedas and the Vedanta for yoga scriptures since ancient times. And nobody has been able to add anything because it doesn't need any addition. But it is source of all other spirituality. It deals with family life, interactions, actions with colleagues, at workplace, and in critical situations, how to conduct oneself so that you don't suffer physically or mentally. He says, death is better in performing one's own duty than to try to other duties, however well you do it. So your duty can lead you to spirituality and happiness, joy. The search is for happiness. So the opening verse is, the rule of reading Bhagavad-Gita is first you read the benefits of reading Bhagavad-Gita. And then you read it. Today our plan is random. We pass through different verses and teachings and try to understand it. So we can like we conduct ourselves in the complicated world and don't suffer unhappiness or psychosomatic problems. Seeking the blessings of Kriya Yoga masters and Krishna, the incarnation of God, we start this discussion on some aspects of the Holy Bhagavad-Gita, which teaches the art and science of stress-free living, efficiency, dutifulness, and self-realization. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitang Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitang Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Mrutavarsinim Bhagavatim Ashtadasha Adhyayinim Ambatvam Anusandadami Bhagavad-Gita Bhavadvaishinim. The meaning in these 4 lines tells you who taught Bhagavad-Gita, to whom it was taught, what it contains, and what it is purpose. Parthaya Pratibodhitang, for special counseling of Arjuna. His name, he has 10 names. One is Partha, means his mother's name was Pritha, so son of Pritha. But also it is meant for all human beings, because all human beings are children of Mother Earth, Prithvi Mata. So it is meant for everybody. God himself, as Krishna incarnation, and the greatest of saints, who is the author of Mahabharata epic, he incorporated it into the great epic. Vyasa Munina, the greatest of spiritual masters. What it contains? Advaita Amrita Varshini. That creator and creation are one. God and devotees are one. Everything is one. If you remember this, it gives you freedom from fear of disease, decay, and death. That it contains. Bhagavatim, power of God. Ashtadasha Adhyayani in 18 chapters. And it is the Divine Mother. Because why is it Divine Mother? Amba. Means the protecting power of the mother is the greatest for any species, not only for human beings. It is the mother who can sacrifice her life to protect her children. There is no other power of protection than this. So it is referred to as the loving Divine Mother. 18 chapters. And then how you should approach this? You should approach it with love and reverence. Tvam anusandadami. it says, I will do research into you. I will study you again and again. Not simple reading. He says, I will read you again and again. I will study, I will research into you so that I get that real knowledge and incorporate it in my personality. Bhagavad-Gita, O song divine, Bhavad-Dveshanim, means it is the destroyer of worry, anxiety, tension and fear and depression. Bhagavad-Gita, Bhavad-Dveshanim. So now, detail we will not go. Some chapters we open. Let us some part from each chapter. So, the first chapter is known as Arjuna Vishada Yoga, the depression and suffering of Arjuna regarding the value system of performing duties. Here he describes the arrangement of the different warriors. Then he says, after seeing all his relatives, do you know what Arjuna did? By telling different arguments to Krishna that he doesn't want to fight, even if he had decided, now he goes back on his decision and he won't fight. He threw his bow and arrows and sat down crying, emotionally upset. Then what Krishna said? Then Krishna is counseling him. What is the situation you see? It is the chariot driver of another king who was the parents of the other enemy party. He has divine vision, so he is reporting it to his master. What is happening? Tang tatha krupayam bishtam asupurna kulekkyanam vishidantamidang vakyam vacha madhusudana. Seeing Arjuna in this crying, pitiable condition, tears running down his eyes, mentally suffering and in agony, Lord Krishna counseled him like this. You see the approach. This is a desperate situation. How you will counsel the teacher and the student who is suffering like this? The Lord is telling Arjuna, at this wrong time and wrong place, wherever this confusion has come to you, you are the greatest of persons, it is not worthy of you. Nor did it give good name and fame. So he says, so Arjuna, don't be a coward. This is a book of heroes, mighty words of encouragement. It is not pitiable appealing. Krishna is telling, look, you don't be a coward. For you it is not at all worthy. O destroyer of enemies, give up this weakness of the heart. You see the word. Give up the weakness of your emotion, weakness of your heart, and stand up confidently and perform your duties. And that is to fight the enemy against injustice. This is how you can, your children, those who go into nervous breakdown, your friends, how to counsel with them. Now let us see. So he says, he quoted many old scriptures, Arjuna, in his emotional upheaval and tried to justify his wrong decision not to perform his duties as a commander-in-chief and warrior. So there Krishna is telling, you are speaking on behalf of people on whose behalf people should not talk. You are worrying about the past. You are worrying about the things which wise people don't worry about. And you are talking big things and talking like a scholar. Remember, Arjuna, he told, remember. You may not fight this world, the war here, which you have already decided. Even if you don't fight, you run away. None of the people who have come to this war field now gathered here is going back alive. Because the machinery of war has already been moved. It is already rolling. Even if you don't fight, nobody is going back alive from this battlefield. So why not you perform your duty and escape the blame that you cheated on your duty, cheated on your friends and relatives. That's what he's telling. Then he says, don't worry about pain and suffering. Because as in this life a person is born, he passes through childhood, youthfulness, adult, old age, very old age. That is a property of the body. You should not cry for it that I have become old. You should not cry that you have become disabled, because the soul is different. The soul is the master of the body. So body changes doesn't affect the soul. And body changes are a must because of natural laws. Nobody can avoid. That is saying, Matya Mandale Deha Vahi Devata Hoile Marai. When in this middle world of the earth, whoever comes, even if he is a god, he has to give up his body. The nature's law. So why you are worrying? There is no point in worrying about it, he says. Then he says, it is not that you are not there or I was not there. You were there. I was there. All these kings and generals and warriors were there. But you don't remember it, but I remember it because I am the God. But it's the truth. Listen to it. Then he says something about the soul. Now, do you know what is the soul like? As human beings give up old and torn clothes, take up new clothes, the soul similarly giving up old and disabled body takes up another young body. He says. Then he says, and what is the nature of this soul, you see? Nainang chindanti shastrani, nainang dahati pavakaha, na chainang klaidan tyapo na shosayati marutaha. This soul cannot be cut by weapons. This soul, fire cannot burn it. This soul, the water cannot moisten it. And this soul, water cannot dry it. And that is yourself. As a soul, you are indestructible. Then he says, this soul cannot be harmed, cannot be cut, cannot be burnt, cannot be moistened, cannot be dried up. This is forever, everywhere, still, and eternal. That is, each one of you applies to this, your soul, that is the soul. So when you identify yourself with your soul, all fear are gone, all fears gone. Old age, these are only a changing phenomena of nature. Now, here, few words about, those days in Vedic culture, people are doing lots of fire ceremony, rituals. What? For personal gain. More people, more descendants, more chariots, more horses, more elephants, more wealth, more gold, and they would need the fire ceremony. Krishna is a great teacher. He gave a new direction to the Vedic culture. From the supremacy of the Vedas, which were doing selfish action with big sounding words and pouring hundreds of kilos of ghee in it, for purpose, happiness, enjoyments in this life, and after giving up body, going to heaven to enjoy more. Krishna says this is not the thing which gives happiness. He gave a new direction, Yoga Vedanta. Perform all your duties. Every duty of yours is a fire ceremony and sacrifice as you do it, not for personal gain, but for service to the Supreme. Sacrifice. Your ego is sacrificed. I will read it because some people still think fire ceremonies are a great thing. They are not. They can cause more bondage. They won't give you freedom. They will never give you self-realization. And that is here written. Jamimang puspitang vachang prapadyanta vipaschitaha vedavadarataha partha nanyaddatistibadinaha kamatmanaha sargapara janma karma phalapradam kriya visesha bahulam bhoga istsujjam gating prati bhoga istsujjam prasaktanang tayaparuta chetasam vyavasayatmaka buddhi samadhona vidhyate. O Arjun, those people who are engrossed in luxuries and sense enjoyments, and those who follow the Vedas with praise highly in high-sounding words that you need to attain heaven to more enjoyment, so you do the fire ceremonies, they have no wisdom. They lack common sense. And those who are confused by the words of these priests or scholars who present this, they are ignorant people. What they get is really depression, distress, tension. And they don't have any idea of God, any idea of their higher aspect of soul. Then he says, then Arjuna is asking, what are the signs of a spiritual master, a spiritual person who is doing all the duties at the same time is spiritually well established? He says, those persons, this person, human being, give up selfish desire and perform their actions as a service to God, they are not well established in wisdom. Those persons, whenever sorrow and suffering comes, they don't get disturbed. They don't get nervous. At the same time, when they get happiness and joy, they are not unnecessarily excited. And those whose inner attachment, desires, fear and anger is destroyed, that person is known as spiritual person. He is well established in spirituality and they are good fit for self-realization. That's why it is the duty of a sincere person who is seeking for self-realization and spirituality that he should control all his senses and control his restlessness of the mind, and depending on the mercy of God, meditate frequently. And those persons whose senses and mind are well under control, they are really wise. Their wisdom has matured. So, very interesting how anger comes. Anger is a great enemy. Some of the greatest enemy, the greatest of all enemies is anger, because you lose control and you can do any wrong. He says, Dhyayato vishayan pungsa sangastesu upajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodha vijayate. I'll give an example. Suppose a Miss Mary, some young girl, very active in social circle, and he's going on a shopping mall, window shopping, and through the windows she sees so beautiful diamond necklaces, shining, earrings, necklace, and nose ring, and all sorts of things, and walking. She's impressed. How to get this? Then she again comes back looking again. The more she looks, the more desires become stronger. And she has no money to buy. And when she cannot do, she becomes angry. She cannot give up desire. And she has no means to achieve it. So she will do some violent crime from anger. And then the police will come and you know the consequence. They get more suffering. Similarly, When people think of their desires too much, they get more desire to achieve it. And when there is obstruction to fulfillment of desires, anger comes. And then from anger, what happens? You see what happens. Krodhat bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhrama smriti bhransat buddhinasa buddhinasat pranashyati. Means from anger, confusion comes, mental confusion. You lose control over your senses and wisdom. And from becoming confused, losing the value system, your knowledge starts suffering, and because your knowledge and intellect is compromised, you become very vulnerable to animality, and there is deterioration of the every value system. So anger has to be controlled. From anger all trouble comes. So do Kriya Yoga nicely and you will see it will help you to calm the mind. What is the desires? Restlessness of the mind is bringing more desires. So keep the mind calm. When the mind is calm, it can see through the different aspects of life. Then you know what to do, what is right, what is wrong. Then, so today I will remind you before we ate, we went and prayed to God that we offer. You see the secret is here. How creation starts. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjannad anna sambhavaha jagnyat bhavati parjanyo jagyah karma samudbhava karma brahmodbhavam viddhi brahma akkhara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nitya yagyam pratishthitam. Now before that he has told that you please offer your food. Whatever you are getting is due to the grace of God. So whatever you enjoy, food, clothes, ornaments, landed property, family values, all, first you offer mentally to God. Because it is through their goodwill, good offices, it has been granted to you. So he says, when you are getting all the blessings from the gods, you accept it with gratitude and offer your gratefulness to them mentally. And offer it mentally first, then you enjoy. Then he says, those who don't do it, suppose you eat food, and before that you don't offer it mentally to God. He says those people are thieves. He clearly mentions. In the Bible also told, God bless us with our daily bread, give us our daily bread. And then they eat. Now here it says, you please practice your gratefulness to God, to gods, for the bounties they are giving you in food, clothes, family life, enjoyments, ornaments, whatever. And then they will be more pleased with you and you will get more blessings. Suppose you don't do that. Then he says, though if you don't offer them mentally first, all these things you are enjoying, then you are no better than a thief. So whatever you enjoy, mentally offer first to God. There is sacrifice. You are sacrificing your ego. And that brings real blessings. You are more and more tuned into the spirit. And that tuning into the spirit is called yoga. Then he said, action. Then he is building up the teachings. How all animals, all beings survive because of food. We are all surviving because of food. And where from this food is coming? The food is coming from the rains, from the fields and from the fields. And how this rain comes? Because of sacrificial offering, means you are offering anything which you have got mentally to God. Admit to yourself that they all belong to God. These are the bounties for your enjoyment. And all these actions you do to earn food, more wealth, They're coming from action. So action is a must. Remember, the lesson is action is a must. And where from these actions come? Actions come from God. Don't sit idle. Do activities as a service to God. Because all actions have come from God. So absence of action is discouraged. And all these actions are coming from God, and tasmat sarvagatam brahma nitya yajna pratishtitam. So God is always established in the offerings to God. That is divinity. So yajna or fire ceremony need not be built big fire with mantras, high sounding mantras and putting ghee. It has to be selfless. So there are many types of sacrifices. You sacrifice your sin, sacrifice your anger, sacrifice your desires, everything. You'll get a self-realization. Now, what is time, please? 5. So, please remember, be oriented to action only, and all these actions, please do it as a service to the Supreme. Then even if you don't practice any active spirituality, you will get self-realization. It will take longer, much longer. So daily meditation is a sacrifice. Daily Kriya practice is a sacrifice. That it is your duty, you are doing it as a service to God. That will get all the benefit. So now here we close because it is infinite, So we will quote only one verse from the end. It's very interesting. Here neither Krishna is teaching nor Arjuna is asking. That same person who reported this war to his king, the same person is concluding, giving his concluding view after listening, after seeing all the events. He says, Jatra Yogeshwaraha Krishno, Jatra Partho Dhanudharaha, Tatra Sir Vijaya Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. He says, O king, wherever the Lord of Yoga, Krishna is present, and in association with him, the mightiest bowman, archer, Arjuna is there. Always there has to be prosperity, good fortune, victory, and firm policy, moral policy. This is my view, he is telling. Means, the way they have described, that you must associate, you must first have professional excellence. Whatever you are doing. You may be a gardener, you may be executive, you may be a manager, you may be a commander, you may be a policeman, you may be a lawyer, you may be a doctor. Be unrivaled in your field. Be number one, unbeatable in your field, which includes dedicated hard work. And if this is associated with mental memory of God, of yoga, teacher of yoga, these two are unbeatable. That is what the conclusion of this. So, whatever profession you are doing, make yourself unbeatable in that profession, number one. Then you will get the friendship of God. And along with mental company of God, you can achieve anything. Rise above all sufferings, difficulties, dangers. Your life in this world is fulfilled. And when you leave the body, before attaining that state, you will be born into such a situation that it will be easier for you to practice and you start accelerated way. This also is there. This is infinite. This is just a little appetizer. So now any question?
Swami, it seems that all these stories of the Bhagavad-Gita, well, of course it tells us a lesson, but it's also happening on the mind. So Do we need this to come out of this mind, or to
You have to,
understand the mind?
you have to put it in practice. Only philosophizing will not help. When you philosophize, you create more imprisonments around yourself. You surround yourself with ideas, and that will confuse you more. So that's why put it in this is a book of action. Right action, right thought, right speech. So you get the right benefit. Many people have many ideas, but this is the commonmost idea, and that's why this teaching was not done in an ashram, in a monastery or a temple. No, not in a mountain cave, not under a tree. It is right in the middle of the field of action. So you should remember that also. It's a field of action. Any other question?
How to know what is your duty? How to know what is your duty?
Have you children? How do you know how to look after them? If you are working in an office as an accountant, you do the best you can do as an accountant, and to win awards and all this, do it as a service. If you are a military person, don't hesitate to obey commands and go and attack the enemy. This is common sense. Suppose you are hungry and you sit there and nice food is arranged. What is your duty? So that's it. When you are coming from outside in winter, shivering, cold, they become pale and crumpled, frostbite, and some kind person admits you to their house and puts hot soup or tea or coffee hot in front of you. What is your duty? Any other question? But all those duties you do as a service to the spirit. That's the essence. If you don't do it, it binds you more and more with ignorance of your inner self and to more suffering. The same duty you do it as a service to the Supreme, it gives you self-realization, freedom. Freedom from suffering also. In ancient times in India, people had a fancy. Whenever they wanted more luxury, money, wealth, or miraculous power, they will go to the forest, alone, no baggage, nothing. Practice spirituality. Spiritual means ascetic practice. Some mantras they will. So one man was going like that, a young man, and it became dark. So many animals were moving. He was scared. What to do? Then he saw a little flickering light in a distance. So he went there and he knocked the door. It was a small hut. And one saint came out. Oh, saint, I'm lost in this jungle. Can you help me? He said, oh, okay, no problem. You're my guest. I'll take care of you. So that saint has many miraculous powers. So by his yoga powers, he created big castle, palace. And so many attendants, beautiful ladies, female, male attendants, so many. With golden plates, they came and offered him nice, delicious food and meals and drinks. So he enjoyed and slept happily. When morning came, he wakes up, sunlight is already there. He's lying on a bare ground in the middle of the jungle. And the saint's cottage is there. So he was curious. He came and saint, tell me where all these beautiful people, nice, wealth, palace, where did it go? The saint smiled. He said, look, child, for the night you are my guest. So using yoga powers to take care of my guest, I did all this. And they vanished when the purpose is served. So this young man was very impressed. He says, Master, please teach me that magic. Don't ask for it. You'll regret. No, I must practice at all cost. You are my guru. Please bless me, help me. He won't go. So he pestered him so much. Then the guru got, all right, but I'm warning you. You'll regret about this and you will come to harm. I don't care for any harm. I want this miraculous power-giving mantra. So the saint, after warning him, taught him the mantra. You go, so many times you meditate on that. So he did so many times as prescribed. Then immediately, what do you call? A Betala. Betala means a person of lower heavens who have miraculous power, but also they can be harmful. He appeared, ferocious looking, with folded hands. Master, what can I do for you? He was scared. He said, who are you? No, I am the Betala. And your mantras have subjugated me. And I am here to obey your orders. Just give me order, but one condition. When you will not give me any order, I will eat you up. Oh, okay, I'll give you sufficient order and keep you busy. So he says, what's the order? No, create a big palace here. Done. Bring many servants, these gold. Done. Bring good food, many gold, fix gold, jewels in this palace, and create a town here. Done. And then this fellow's basic need is finished. He got confused, what next? Yeah. Then he hesitated. Come on, quick, master, give me some order, otherwise I'm going after eating you up. Then this fellow got scared and ran. And this fellow chased. Wait, give me order. So he's running and came to his master. Fell at his feet. So what to do? The master told, all right, it is too late now to criticize you. He looked around, one dead dog was lying there. And he says, you take your soul and cut the tail of the dead dog and give it to this Vetala to straighten it for you. So he immediately cut it. Then he came, Master, what work can I do? No, you take this tail of this dog and straighten it. So the Betala took it straight. Now, Master, you take it. The moment he let go, the tail became curled again. Then again, so many hours the poor Betala did it. And whenever he handed over, it became curled. So he says, Master, you relieve me from this duty. He says, no, you must do it. No, Master, whatever money, wealth, gold I had given you, you please keep it with you, but let me go. I never faced this situation. I'm a veteran Betala. No, you do it. So the master signaled him, let him go. So he said, all right, now you're free. The world is like that tail of a dog. Saints come, preach. For a few years, there is peace, prosperity, happiness. After they are gone, after a few hundreds or thousands of years, again the situation. This is what Krishna referred to in the Gita. So whenever there is deterioration of the value system, God Himself comes as the incarnation. Then you will see all these wars, etc., are a consequence, a kickback of those situations. Then He comes back to rearrange harmony, peace. That is what Jesus Christ came for, and He sacrificed His life for it. But after that, His teaching took ground, and He's still increasing. That's the role of the masters. So all these natural calamities, though appears to be man-made calamities, they come according to the cosmic law, but again it has its repercussion. Nobody is free. They are having the repercussions still going on. So always the main aim perform your duties well, whatever it may be, but do it as a service to God.
Can you explain the difference between desires and free will?
Pardon? Please repeat again.
The difference between desires and free will.
Desires is born of nature. Free will is born from the soul. That's the difference. Desires are creature comforts. Free will is a different thing which you can use either to do negative or to do positive. If you do positive, you will get happiness. If you do negative, you will get suffering. Everything is a cause and effect, and that is at a lower level. Prakriti. Nobody can escape their karmas. And they're propelled by their own karmas, and that generates new karmas. So that's why never judge. Never judge. Bible also says, don't judge anybody. Because everybody, until and unless they're God realized, they don't know the truth. So once you are God realized, you are above this, so you don't judge anybody. So if you judge somebody using certain standard, others are judging you using the same standard. The more you judge, the more you are under your ego, which is under control of nature. So best is be part of egoless Supreme Spirit, who is beyond good, beyond bad. Dualities, that you should remember. God is beyond good, beyond bad. So He has no friend, no enemy. And to reach that stage, you have to be self-realized. Then you can go beyond all confusions. The brain is still learning, and there is no end to the learning process till you become self-realized. Well, I don't claim that I can clear all your doubts in half an hour class with this book, teaching of thousands of years. Attempt has been made. A path has been sown. Think about it, act on it. So if there is no other story, this class is over and we have a break. Thank you and God bless you.